Sometimes we have to forgive God in order to love completely. Hey there guys, this is Dr. Joan with Becoming Canada. We are at day 10 of our 40-day relationship building challenge, and I'm so excited. Today's topic has to do with unconditional love. Now, my question for you right off the bat is, do you think unconditional love is possible? So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to actually put a comment in this post and respond to that question. And if there are any other questions that arise or thoughts that arise after you listen to me talk, then please include that as well. So I want to ground today's talk in some words of wisdom from 1 John 4 verse 18. It says this: there is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear is about punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. In other words, has not been able to love unconditionally, has not spiritually matured. So, in my previous post, I did it this morning, you can review it, I asked the question, what did you do, Disney? Because Disney has set us all up to believe that this idea of romantic love is the destination, is the thing that we should all seek. But the love we all seek is this unconditional love, and it's a godly love. The problem is we sometimes don't know what we seek. So in my last post, I told you a story. And the task that I assigned for today was to forgive the first moment in time when you became afraid. So in my last post, I told the story of a young toddler. She is 2 years old. It's nighttime. She goes to her grandmother's house. It's Halloween. And she's excited. As she walks in the door, she is greeted by a man. And eventually what this man does is he puts on a mask. Now, it's one of those gargoyle kind of mask that goes over the head and comes all the way down to the shoulder. It's grotesque looking. It frightens her. And so he puts on the mask and he roars and he begins to chase her around the house. And what she does is she screams and she runs for an adult. She grabs onto their knee for dear life because she is absolutely terrified. And this goes on. He'll take it off, they all laugh, and then he puts it back on, and then he roars, and he goes around, and he frightens her and her sister again. She remembers that, 2 years old, and she remembers this moment as if it happened yesterday. But she's never known what to do with it. So the thing that has always bothered her is she has always felt terrified. You know, this overwhelming sense of anxiety, a fear, a dread that something bad is going to happen, that God is going to get her in some way, shape, or form. So, when we do our forgiveness of the first moment in time when we become afraid, sometimes we have to forgive God, right? Now, there are many people in this scenario, but the three that I'm going to focus on is the man in the mask, her granny, whose house it was, who kind of gave the authorization for this all to happen, and in fact laughed as it was all happening. And then God. The final person she will forgive is herself. But I want to talk about God. And I'm going to link that because as we are afraid, we are linking our fear to the people who are present, but we're also making decisions about the nature of God, because our parents or our caretakers are really God's representatives on earth. So we take that quite seriously, even as infants. Even though we might not be able to verbalize that, we know we are spiritual beings. We lose that as we grow up. But we all have an understanding that we're spiritual beings, and something spiritual is happening in this particular moment. The first moment we become afraid, I call it our little Garden of Eden. We have a choice to make. The choice is, will I become afraid, or will I stand and trust in love? So, for the man in the mask, we would forgive him for terrorizing her, instead of allowing her to just have fun and get on with her day, or her night, or her celebration. It's Halloween after all. Then for her grandmother, we would forgive her for giving the authority, really, for her to be terrorized. And instead of protecting her, bringing her into a place of safety. Now, when we forgive God, the thing we want is the same thing we want from them. We want freedom from being terrorized. We want him to stop it instead of granting authority for this person to carry on the terrorization, right? In a 2-year-old mind, in fact, in all of our minds, in our first moment of fear, whether it happens when you're 2, when you're in the womb, or when you're 5 or 15, whenever that moment happens, you are deciding, am I being punished? Am I being terrorized? The overcoming of that fear and the recognition that actually, no, this was a moment of fun. Now, some people really are terrorized, but in this moment, it was a moment of fun, right? God was not laughing at her as her grandmother and all the other people in the room did. God was present and he was hoping she would choose love. Now, when we forgive God, we move through a process. I've only given you step 1. But as we begin to move through that process, what happens is our eyes are open. Our spiritual eyes are open to what this moment represents. And as our eyes are open, we begin to see things quite differently. This was about a choice, right? And for us now, we make a new decision. We choose to love. We choose to believe that there is no fear in love. We choose to believe we are not being punished. So your task for today is to remember the first time you became afraid. And if you need some help, download chapter 2 of my book. Click on my profile, download chapter 2, read about something called The Room. And as you read about The Room, hopefully some memories will be triggered. And if you need some help in actually moving through the forgiveness process, I can help you with that too. Purchase the book. And as you purchase the book and read, you'll be learning a forgiveness process that brings a conscious awareness about the decisions you make, about the other people in the room, about God, about you, and you begin to live life fearlessly. All right, guys, have a great day.